Psych.
Today on the grid, it's rockets, infrared, and birds. Oh my! Like that hasn't been used before. We have a very special in-studio guest. Rain Hayes is here, and Skyping in from someplace who knows where, Erik Kuna, the Rocket Man. He's on a Rocket Man location. Rick Sammon will be joining us. He's going to talk about some cool stuff. We got a bunch of giveaways. We got a bunch of cool stuff to share, and it all starts in 23.6 seconds. Let's go!
The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
They have to read it.
And yet you're still enthusiastic.
Welcome, everybody, to another live episode of The Grid. Starting a little late today because we're not very good at our jobs. Anyway, but we are very, very glad you're here. Special guest in the studio, Rain Hayes. Whoa. Expert specialist on infrared photography, here doing classes on infrared photography, which is so cool. People get sucked into it and they never want to shoot a regular shot again. It is really, really neat. You know, I actually have I have a Fuji infrared camera that has been converted to infrared.
You do?
So I do. It's probably 4 megapixels at this point. I've had it.
You can make some amazing art with that.
I've had it a while, but I think infrared is
It
fascinating.
never goes out of style.
It never does. It is timeless. And a lot of times people think, oh, you're doing something wild in post, and it's simply infrared, because infrared.
That's right.
Now, you can kind of fake it a little in photos. It's not the same. It never comes out the right.
It's the light. It's the light that you can't fake. Yeah.
Stinking light.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
And
Great
welcome to everybody. We got some giveaways today. I got some stories. I got some behind-the-scenes shots. I have all kinds of stuff. So I just came back from my workshop in Lisbon, Portugal. I spent 9 days there, so I did a little bit of shooting beforehand, and then the workshop came, and we had an absolutely lights-out marvelous time. We're going to show you some behind-the-scenes pictures here in just a second. Let's real quick talk about what we're giving away today. You're thinking, man, I hope he gives away a platypod. No. What about an extreme? No. Gooseneck? No. This.
What is that?
I don't even know. It's a small box. It is a platypod mini super clamp.
I hope I get one.
I have no idea what it does, but that's it. And it's $18, so you can see at this point we've given up on giving nice prizes. It's $18. This will not even get you lunch at Wendy's.
But it could hold your lunch at Wendy's. It could hold your fork while you...
Yes. No, what you would do is put the sandwich in it. And then you can just eat hands-free. It would be amazing.
So you want to mount it on the dashboard with the sandwich in the clamp, and you can eat and drive seamlessly.
I take it all back. This is way better than I thought. We're giving this away today. It's $18. So if you don't win, rush to platypod.com and buy these, because apparently, look, there's the food.
See?
It's right there. We're also giving away a copy of my book, the Travel Photography book. You should read this book. It's almost travel time. It is travel time. According to every flight that I was on and every airport I was in, it is high travel time. So we're going to give away a copy of that today. We're going to give away a copy of my latest book, which is called Light It, Shoot It, Retouch It. It's a brand new book, and it's out, and look, it's there. Okay, and it's in paperback or Kindle. We're going to give away the paperback one today. What else are we giving away? We're going to give away one V-Flat from V-Flat World. And these are great. You can use them for so much, but you can use them as giant reflectors. You can use them as negative reflectors. You can use them as backdrop stuff. We use them here in the studio. They are absolutely amazing. Just go by their website, V-Flat World. Also, even if you don't win today, you can get a discount. You can get 10% off by using the code Kelby10 at checkout. So go to vflatworld.com. Their stuff is actually very, very awesome. And all I can say is I can't believe somebody didn't think of with how they do it before. It's like, why didn't I think of that? What else are we giving away? We are giving away a copy of On One No Noise 2023. It is a plugin for Lightroom or Photoshop that reduces noise in a very meaningful way. All right. I think that's all we're giving away, but isn't that enough? It's quite a bit of stuff, and don't forget this bad boy. All right. Let me really quickly talk about Lisbon, and we'll just talk about this in the first segment. So first, we went to Lisbon, and this is my crew here. Here we go. This is us. All right, you got Mimo Madani over there on the left holding a tripod. Mimo is the greatest guy that you could ever hope to do a workshop with. He does all my workshops with me. He's the greatest. He's an amazing person, and he's such a great photographer, and he teaches classes while we're there on black and white photography, which his black and white techniques are amazing. He teaches on composition. He has one of the best composition talks I've ever seen. Composition is his thing. In fact, we are going to be bringing him here he's never been to America because he's a spy. But he's now a Canadian spy, which it's an oxymoron, because who's Canada going to spy on and why? But anyway, he has got his Canadian passport, so we're going to bring him here to the United States for the first time. He's going to do some classes for us on like composition and other stuff. His black and white stuff is just ridiculous. Anyway, so he's the greatest guy. Then there's me. I'm me. Next to me is the other greatest guy, Fernando Santos, Cheeky Nando. So Cheeky Nando lives in Lisbon, Portugal, and he was our man on the ground there. He is the most helpful person you will ever meet in your life. Cheeky is so much fun and so helpful and knows his area and knows that town inside out. And he was able to pull off some magical things, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then we just saw this guy. No, that's Jason. That's the director of the grid. Now, he's not directing it today. He's out today, but normally he is the director of the grid. And he was there because we filmed a couple of classes for Kelby One while we were in Portugal. And oh my God, he's so funny. He is so funny. Anyway, we had a great time, and he's super talented, but ridiculously funny. We had a really, really super time. So Nando, Cheeky Nando, took a bunch of behind-the-scenes shots, and I got to tell you, the best behind-the-scenes shots I've ever seen. His behind-the-scenes shots look like real shots. So I'm going to show you some of them, but I want to tell you a story. Dun, 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 dun.
Is this about why he's called Cheeky Nando? Because I'd like to hear that story as well, if you have time.
Oh, it's an embarrassing story.
Excellent.
I'm going to have to tell you that one on the break. But anyway, he is Cheeky Nando. And we either called him Cheeky, but some of my attendees at the workshop called him Chico. Just Chico, for no reason. It's Chico. His icon, his like logo is a chick. It's a baby chick. And they're calling him Chico. And I'm like, you've just given up at this point. Anyway, long story short, I got to tell you about this one shoot. So I've always wanted to shoot this thing called the Pina Palace. Now, days before my workshop attendees come, we go to every place we're going to go or potentially might go, because you don't know. You don't want to get up at 6 a.m, get in a bus, drive an hour, get to some place and there's scaffolding all over it. Right. So we travel to all of them first. We find the best shooting locations, the best spots. We figure everything out. That's just part of the gig, right? We go there days early. So we're going to the Pina Palace, which, as it turns out, is like trying to go to Disney World and photograph in Disney. It's like there were so many people there, and you had to be in time slots, and there was a lot of climbing. Like you walk in the door of the palace, and you start just going up and up and up and up. It was just like what I would give for an escalator. Anyway,
it seems like a lot of work for royalty or whatever.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I thought they would. They probably had a carriage that took them up, but they'd be in that carriage like this. They'd be all leaning back. I mean, it was surprisingly. So anyway, I wanted to get a shot of the palace. It's a very famous shot, but it's from far away. You know, we always thought it was from a drone, but Nando did some research and he found the exact spot where this shot can be taken. It is a half-mile walk straight uphill at a 14% grade. Now, you don't know me that well. Let me tell you, I hate walking uphill. You know what I hate walking up? Walking uphill carrying gear is the worst. But I did it. So I go. We get to the top of the hill, and when you get to the top of the hill is another hill. So you go up these stairs, and the stairs were kind of precarious. In fact, at one point, I almost started to lose my balance. Cheeky Nando was behind me, and he grabbed me and saved me. So then, when you get to the top of the stairs, it's not stairs, they're stairs cut out of rock, and they're not. Then you're on more rocks.
So you're climbing the pyramids, basically.
Yes, you're climbing. Thank you, and it's higher than the pyramids. Anyway, You're good. Okay, we get up there, and there's more rocks. Now, so you get off the stairs, and you think it'll be flat. No, it's a bunch of rocks. I am deathly scared of heights. I can only go 2 rungs on a ladder. So I get up there, and I'm scared, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this, and my legs start shaking. That's how I know, like when I have a fear of heights, my legs start tingling.
Yeah.
They like boom, it's like flipping a switch. So I'm up there and I'm tingling, I'm leaning against a rock, I'm like, I'm uncomfortable here. Well, you have to go higher, and at the top of this is it's a monument, and it's the cross. There's the cross up there, and it's kind of up there. So you cannot see the palace. You would have to. You can't. It's all trees.
This is where you launch the drone from?
No drone. We should have brought a drone. But we get out there, and I'm like, I can't believe I hiked a half mile uphill, 14% grade. You know, I climb up these other rocks. Everything's, Nando's having to save my life and all this. We get up there, and I'm like, I'm not going to get the shot. I'm so bummed. So I'm literally sitting there like this. Everybody else is shooting, and they're climbing up on stuff I'm never going to climb up on. And so Mimo comes down and says, I have a plan. Let me be your tripod. I will climb up on this thing. I'll hold on with one hand. I'll shoot. But you take out your app, and you can set your settings. You can direct me. You can fire. You're taking the shots. I'm just like your human tripod. I'm like, let's do it. I have a shot.
Wow.
Now, here's what's interesting. When I show you the shot, it doesn't look precarious, because it looks like it was taken on flat ground, and then there's a monument. What you don't see, I'm just telling you guys at home when you see this, picture a big hill, all right, and then stairs, and then all these rocks, and then the picture starts. So if Mimo loses his grip, it's the end of Mimo's life. Everybody's falling off and dying. Everyone you see was like one little thing away from dying. This is not easy. But the picture doesn't look like it. The picture looks like, oh, that's not a big deal. It's a big deal.
But every time you look at this picture, from now to eternity, you're going to get that little tingle in your legs.
Yes, I'm about to get it right here. All right, because you're going to look at this and you're going to go, this isn't that bad. So here's the shot. Can you get that? Does it work? Right? But what you can't tell is we're at the tree. We're over the treetops. Do you see the tree to the right of him?
Yeah.
All right. That's these big, tall trees. We're way up there. We're like 60 feet up or something. We're like 6 stories up there. And you can't tell it doesn't look that bad. But I was like, anyway, that's me. I'm holding the Canon Connect app. Nando came and set up a wireless network, which, I mean, they talk you through it, but only Nando can figure it out. Nando knew the secret setting, and that you have to go turn on. You have to pair it first with your phone, and then it works. But of course, they don't give you that instructions. But Nando already knew because he's a Canon shooter. So I'm actually taking the shot, and I'm telling Mimo, all right, move left, move a little further. Okay, zoom in. No, not that far. Back it up. Back it
level.
up. Yeah, and he got the shot because he's the only one tall enough. Mimo's very tall. He was the only one tall enough to get over the trees. Now, give me a second. I'm going to show you what the shot. Let me just grab the shot. Hang on.
But I want to know how he figured out that this was the spot. Like, how do you get that information?
Because Nando's a researchy guy. Let me see. Is that it? Oh, this one will do. Here we go. All right, here. So there's the shot across the trees.
Ooh.
And so it's a very colorful, very, very colorful palace. But if you're not on that thing, you know what you get? Just those trees. You can't see the palace at all.
Yeah, and you always have the horizon above the palace top, which doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's reaching into the clouds.
It is.
That's
it's reaching
beautiful.
Into the. Actually, I'm not joking. It was in the clouds numerous times. We had to wait because the clouds.
Because the fog was in.
Yeah, it's way up there. But you can't tell from where the people are at the bottom right. But to get up into there and start shooting and stuff, it's stories and stories and stuff. And we realized this is not a great thing to take our students to, because there was 1,000 people everywhere just clogging everything, and you couldn't get a clean shot of anything. But anyway, and I wouldn't make them make this walk either. So we marked this palace off our list, and it was probably an hour away by bus from where we were. But anyway, that was my human tripod story. I do want to also tell you a story about this. So Nando says, you got to try this special Portuguese dish. This is it before I ate it, by the way. This is how it was served. He said it was a stew. And the best way I can describe it is if you took a grenade and you put it inside a pig and it exploded and you added rice, that is this dish.
But how did it taste?
It was funky. There were parts of it were okay. There was a couple of potatoes and rice, but I don't know what was in there. It was like the contents of a lava lamp and something they hit with a car and all. And there was 3 of us ordered it. Mimo and I ate maybe 15% of it. The other guy would have said, there is no way I'm eating this. Bring me a hamburger. Yeah, it went really. So anyway, but Nando, he grew up with this. Mm-hmm. And this is, see this stuff here? This right there? That's the thing they eat in Scotland. Like it's blood pudding or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. Anyway.
So you invite him to Florida, and what's the dish he's got to try?
If I brought him before, I would take him for like Cuban food. There's his logo. That's Cheeky Nando right there. That's Cheeky
great.
Nando. Oh yeah, Cheeky's the best. But let me tell you what. Besides this one meal, he was a superstar. I'm telling you, I know people in the community and that watch the grid. You know Nando. You know him, but you have no idea of the level of how hard Nando works and how helpful he is. Nando was all over everything, and he took the best BTS shots you've ever seen. I'm serious. I'm going to show them to you. I'm going to show you some BTS shots, and we're going to take a break after that. But the best BTS shots, and I'm going to just take you through them quick. I'm just going to give you some highlights. But I wanted to show you this picture because that's actually how it was served.
Hey, you took one for the team. We all got to do it from time to time, even the big guy.
And I think that Mimo and I made a valiant effort. And under it was like cabbage. It was like, okay, let's move on. All right, I'm going to go find my Cheeky Nando pictures. Hang on. Oh, here's another. This is a selfie of us in the elevator, which I think was not a big elevator. But that's Jason, Cheeky Nando, Mimo in the back, and that's yours truly.
Why didn't you just take the elevator to the top of the pile of rocks?
I would have given a lot of money for there to have been an elevator to the top of the rock. There was nothing.
Was it a tough climb back down?
No, it just took a while. It's just, it's pretty steep, and you're just cruising here. All right, I'm going to take you through these real quickly, and these are all Cheeky Nando shots. So this is at dawn. We were shooting this incredible bridge over there. I can actually show you one shot of the bridge, but this is us, and it's very dark. That's Jason's silhouette there, and there's Willie. That's Willie.
Oh, nice.
That's Willie. Willie's great. Willie is the best guy you'd ever want on any workshop. And here we go, Jen. There's Mimo helping out. And what we do mostly when we're there, just so you'll know, Rain, we walk around and look at everybody's shots, and if they're any good, we steal them. A lot of times we just take their card right out of the camera. So that's Mimo saying, that's a good shot. Give me your card.
Great artist steal.
You can't really hear the rest of it, but that's. And there's Cindy. And here's us all. So this is the interesting thing about this thing, and we talk about it. We actually talk about it in the class because you see everybody's shots. Like people choose their best shot for the morning. We look through them. You're all in the same place, and it is stunning how different everyone's photos are. You would think you're all right here, and everyone's photos are going to be the same, but everybody's got zoom lenses. Everybody composes differently. They process them differently with different colors and stuff. It's amazing how different they are. But this is us. Just shooting in different locations. Oh, and this is that's Cole the super dog. So yes, we had a service dog with us, and it was a cool, great little dog, great little guy, quiet, wonderful, travel everywhere.
They have little saddlebags, carry a lens on each side. I mean, he's a small dog.
That would have been nice. He could have carried 2 small lenses. Yeah. That's me doing last week's broadcast here on the grid. I popped in from the grid right there, and all right. There's Aaron, Susan, and there's Sean. He was fake British, so he had a British accent, but he lives in Portugal. Conner-ish. Yes, he was very much like this. I'm going to take a shot now. You need to stand back while I do this.
We all need a fake British narrator on our photo tours.
And there's Scott. He and I go way back, and there's Susan, and someone's stealing her shots. And Sherry, and there's Jason. And what was weird? So we got there a couple days early. We went to that's a cheeky behind the scenes shot, but how beautiful is that bridge?
Lovely.
Oh, we did long exposures and all this kind of stuff. So you know how many shots I took during the workshop?
How many?
Like 60. Like we don't shoot we shoot early, and then at the workshop I only take a picture or two so I can go, like if I have to retouch something in the class for reference to go, hey. So I'm not sitting in the classroom going, can somebody give me a shot of the bridge?
Right.
Can you put it on a USB disc? But I think I took 70 shots. I hardly took any shots at all. But I took some before we got there, but it was in crappy light. And we're all just shooting around different locations. So this is me in the lobby of the hotel, all set up, and I'm shooting a class on how to back up your images and organize them when you're traveling. That's one of the questions I get asked the most. People go, when you're traveling, like, what's your backup strategy? So I did an entire class on backing up, organizing your images, having multiple backups, all that stuff. And then when you get home, how to take your Lightroom catalog from your laptop and transfer it to your computer. Or if you only want to take your iPad and do the whole thing on an iPad. So that I went through all that. That's us on location shooting. And anyway, that's that. And then I'm just going to whip through here real quickly. It's just all of us shooting in different locations and having just an absolute ball. What a great group. We laughed so much.
That looks
learned
like a
lot.
really good time.
There's Willie. That's a great shot of Willie.
Willie's got the face.
He does have the face.
Photograph
Willie
that guy.
also has the gift of being able to go up and get anyone in the world to pose for him. I kid you not. He is like, he can get anybody to stop what they're doing and pose, and he doesn't even speak their language. It's amazing.
Maybe you should invite him on every tour.
That's a pretty good shot of Sean there. It looks like he's talking like this. You're embarrassing me, money. All right, so just shooting around, and I took everybody to this curve where I took my most liked Instagram shot. We got there at dawn, so there's no cars, and because any other time the street is absolutely packed, and so we're shooting there. This is us all shooting a funiculaire, and then we rode it. And then look at this. We get out of funiculaire, Mimo, fresh baked chocolate croissants for everybody.
Oh, man.
I know. It was great. Chocolate croissants, and they were amazing, of course. And so Jill says, approximately how many photos do the workshop attendees take at one location? So Jill, we get there a half an hour before sunset and a half an hour before sunrise. So everybody shoots for probably, 45 minutes, an hour. We're probably an hour in each location. So we leave the hotel at 6, we get in location, we shoot from after until the sun gets bad, as soon as the sun's like up, then we leave and go back for breakfast. I don't know how many shots, because people will take, some will take 10 shots, some will take 500. It just depends. Look at that nice shot of Mimo with a chocolate croissant. but see, that's a behind the scenes shot, but it doesn't look like it looks like a portrait.
In front of the scene shot.
I know. I mean, he did an amazing job on it. And so anyway, these are just us shooting in different places, cruising around, and we went to another palace in a different town, and that's Susan and Mimo, and he looks very handsome there. He's all posy.
So how many days was this?
It's 4 days, and we have a dinner the night before, then 3 days, and then we go until like 3 o'clock the last day. And yeah, we're changing lenses, which is what we do a lot. And then see this? So Mimo goes and buys these big bottles of water, and then he pours them into a little puddle, and we shoot reflections. Yeah, he makes his own puddle. See all the water there? And then, hey, now that's a great shot of Willie. I swear he shot these lights out.
Is there a bad shot of Willie?
No, you can't take a bad shot of Willie. There's Craig. There's me and Scott doing selfies, shooting at dawn again. And then inside the classroom, this is our classroom where we're all working on our images. So after each shoot, we go to breakfast and then we work on images. So we're working on images, and Jen won best photo of the week as chosen by the entire class. She took an amazing photo. We take a vote, and she gets this very, very nice.
A great honor.
Yep. And they look at a nice shot of Mimo.
Yep.
Mimo and Susan looking surprised. Anyway, I just wanted to show you some of the behind-the-scenes shots. I don't really have a lot of finals because I came home and I slept for an entire day. Just slept. I was just, I tell people, It's not a photo tour. It's a workshop. We put the work in workshop. We go. But my gosh, we had a great group of photographers. Everybody could shoot. They were all good shooters. They could all post-process. We laughed. We went everywhere. We had fun. We had amazing meals. It was an incredible time. Now, I know I say that every time I come back from a workshop, but I'm telling you, we had a blast, an absolute blast. And in 11 days, doing it again in New York City, but it's me and Mr. Kuna. So Erik Kuna, my first time doing a workshop with Erik and myself. So we're very excited about that. Coming up in the big city, and we're working on secret stuff. Oh, can I show you one thing?
Yes, please.
All right. So, yeah, it's called Unforgettable New York.
La la.
And it's the fastest sellout of any workshop I've had in a while. It was like gone in 2 days. But here's the thing. Back in Fernando was able, you ready for listen to this? Tell me you wouldn't love this. No, I'm serious. Fernando was able to set up a special shoot for us with an 80-year-old painter, right? And he paints, what's the word I'm looking for? Not surreal. They're kind of surreal. Impressionist.
Okay. It's impressionist, uses a lot of paints.
A lot of paints, but it's really good, phenomenally great. Super great guy, 80 years old. Nando was able to have him invite us into his home and do window light portraits.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I kid you not. Let me just grab one real quick here and just show you. He's a super nice guy. He didn't speak a word of English, so we all had to kind of talk through Nando. But he was so gracious and so nice. And let me see if this is it. I think that's it. Let me make sure. Yeah. All right, let me show you a picture. Hold on. Oh, I'll make it smaller. Hold on. I don't like this size here.
Quick edit. Excuse me. Just going to do something really fast.
No, I'm just sizing it. No. There we go. So see if you can see that.
Wow.
And we did window light portraits surrounded by his own work. And he was lovely, and it was just a very, very special experience. And
I'm sure he appreciated it. I'm sure you showed him this image, and he was like, "That's a Rembrandt, my friend."
Oh, I'm making him a print. I'm going to make a really, really nice print. I'll have it printed over there, and I'm making him also a print with all of the student shots because everybody got different shots of him. There's some with their hands on their face and smiling and looking the other way and all. And he was just so warm and so nice to everyone. He was just he could not have been more gracious. Okay, awesome. I'm way over time. Way over time. We've got to take a break. But on the break, coming up next. Coming up next, we're going to go to Erik Kuna, and I'll explain why he's got to go real quick. We're going to go. Erik's coming up next. Don't forget, we're still going to talk about infrared photography. We're going to talk about bird photography with Rick Sammon. Erik Kuna is standing by. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on The Grid.
Here we go now.
Hey, I'm Frederick Van Johnson. You can find me at frederickvan.com or thisweekinphoto.com. And today we're going to dive into macro. We're going to be going to the Florida Botanical Garden. That's where I am right now, doing a variety of photography on tiny subjects from flowers to succulents, cacti, to bugs, all kinds of things. We're going to be diving into the ins and outs of photographing this stuff. We're also going to be using gear that you may already have in your pocket right now, the iPhone. Surprisingly capable device, the iPhone, especially for macro photography. A lot of the iPhone models have built-in macro lenses. So we're going to talk about that. What are the ideal ways to do that? What steps to avoid? All that stuff. We're going to talk about all the gear that you need to do this kind of photography, but then we're going to take everything into the studio and do post-processing. So you'll see from me taking the camera out of the bag all the way through to the finished product. We're also going to talk about the techniques and some advanced techniques using Lightroom and Photoshop. So come join me for this macro course on Kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Hey, we are back. Scott's here, Rain's here, and on location at the launch of the new SpaceX rocket, the one that's going to, eventually go to Mars, but certainly going to the moon, and it's like the biggest rocket ever. And Kuna is there on location. He drove his luxurious RV all the way to Texas. There he is in his RV.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Mr.
Hi.
K, what up?
Hey, good to see you guys.
Hey, so I heard they scrubbed the first launch. Tell us about what's going on out there in San Padre. Where is it? Where?
Boca Chica, Texas. So right on the border of basically the border of Mexico. South Padre Island is kind of the beach town that's near it. So, so they're launching the world's biggest, most powerful rocket ever. It's going to be the one that NASA has contracted to be the lunar lander for the Artemis program. So we're doing that. And then eventually this platform is designed to go to Mars. So they're in that process. Obviously, it's a test flight. So there's been, this and that and issues here and issues there. But yeah, there was an attempt on Monday. It was really good up until just a little problem that they had, and it would have gone if it wasn't for that problem. So now
hurry
they're
up and wait.
They're just troubleshooting, and that's what kind of happens with this stuff, especially in the test environments.
All right.
I know I showed shots a little while ago of another launch provider that's doing tests, and it's the same thing. It's just hard, but space is hard.
Rocket science is hard.
Put that on the wall.
So they're planning on a launch tomorrow. Is that correct? Still on for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's on for tomorrow. I have to actually run here in just a few minutes and set my cameras back up because they made us pull them off the pad. I actually have some shots here I can show you guys.
Yeah, let's see.
Here we go. Let me see. That's from the pad. This is as it was actually fueling up about to go, and then it vented off. So just shots in the morning. That's in the morning when it was venting, and just my camera's triggered because the sound's so loud at the pad. That was one that triggered overnight when it was venting overnight.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we went the other day. Photo pills. There was a place about 12.2 miles offshore that we could get the rocket and the sun enveloping the sun. But the problem was when we got out there, this is what we got because the clouds kind of got in our way. But the next night, same camera, same focal length, got the image, and that was the image we were going after.
Come on!
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
that is unreal.
Yeah, so that's photo pills, and knowing that, planning and where you need to be. Then just shots of the rocket. What's amazing about this pad is, except for those pad shots where you saw it venting, all these shots anybody in the public could go. Like this public people standing right next to me taking this shot. This is from the public beach. That's from the public beach. So it's just one of those things where the pad is very accessible. It's right there in port. You can see right behind it. and it's just a really cool stuff. It was awesome to see all the people there, telling that story of the people that are watching, waiting for this launch to go off, even standing on top of their cars. I saw so many people with cameras, but what was surprising is how many people had their phones hooked up to spotting scopes. That was a big thing.
Wow.
A lot of it. So it was very, very interesting.
When I was a kid growing up in the 80s, you wanted to be one of two things when you grew up, either an Olympic gymnast or an astronaut. And I think that culturally we are so into space and rockets, and these images are just so cool, and seeing all the people out there that are also into it is awesome.
Oh yeah, and that's what the big story. I mean, I really had some epic crowd shots going on Monday, but that's the problem is if it doesn't launch, it kind of looks boring without that rocket busting off the pad. But that's part of photography. It's part of photography. Just like going out and planning these things. It's just that's what you have to do. You got to put in that effort to make those great shots.
A couple months ago, a rocket launch in California triggered a noctilucent cloud in my area in Oakland, California. I didn't know what it was. I took a picture of this glowing cloud out my window in the middle of the night and posted it online, tagged the National Weather Service and said, "What is this?" It got picked up in all these syndicated publications and was published around the world. And it was so cool that I didn't know what this rarest cloud in the world was, but thanks to everyone online looking at it, they said it was from a rocket launch.
Wow.
So now I'm really interested every time there's a rocket launch that maybe we'll get another one of those.
So now Eric's like, how can I get one of those?
Oh, I get them all the time, Scott. You see those like
is that the
nebulous kind of things that go into twilight? That's exactly what that is. What she's talking about. Yeah. So that's the holy grail is that orbital twilight is what it's called when they're launching in that orbital twilight. So then the cloud gets lit up and kind of glows, but it's almost like you're in sunset, you're in twilight. So it looks odd. It looks almost like a portal to another dimension. It's weird. It just glows.
Yeah. It was
Wow,
awesome.
right.
Interesting.
Well, Mr. K, I know that you got to run and go set up your cameras, but thank you for taking the time to come in from Boca Chica, Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope you have a great rest of the show.
Right.
I know you've got talk about those infrared images, so I'm interested to see that.
Oh, yeah. All right, Mr. K.
Right.
Well, good luck with your
to see
launch.
you.
I hope it goes off tomorrow.
Good
Take
luck.
care.
Yes, me too.
All right,
Thank
see
you.
ya.
Bye.
All right, that was Mr. Kuna, the real rocket man out there doing real rocket stuff. All right, so we're going to take a short pause. When we come back, I've got a Photoshop tip. It's going to look like a Lightroom tip, but it's really more a Photoshop tip. Photoshop tip for you when we come back, and then we've got Rick Sammon standing by. Rick Sammon.
Hey everyone, Rick Sammon here. I am so excited about my latest Kelby 1 class. It's on action photography. Now in this class, I'm going to show you how to photograph birds in flight, horses jumping, BMX bikers flying through the air with the greatest of ease, and dogs running at top speed. The class is jam-packed with tips, tricks, and techniques that you could apply to all types of action photography. And of course, I'm going to cover all the different lenses that you could use to tell your story. Now we're going to keep the fun going in the studio where I'm going to show you some photo processing techniques. My friends, please join me for my latest class only on Kelby1.com.
Hey guys, I'm Tuvi and I'm going to show you two really cool products that we at VFlat World sell. So the first one is our Duo boards, which are double-sided hyper-realistic backdrops for food and product photographers. They come in two sizes. This is the larger side. We have all different types of textures and designs. These are some of the new ones that came out recently, and they also, there's a bag option available for them. And our other product, which is what we actually started the company with, it's called a V-flat. It's a foldable V-flat, and it's used for portrait and studio photographers to control light on their subjects, to either add light with the white side or use the black side to subtract light, or even block like an unwanted window light coming in.
right, the masking in Lightroom is crazy, and it keeps getting better. Adobe keeps adding so much stuff to it. They've added so much to it that I wanted to do a whole class just on the masking. I want to show you everything. I want to show you all the different tools, all the different functions, all the different features. You're going to be able to do so many neat things. Plus, you're going to have to spend less time jumping over to Photoshop and jumping back. If you use Lightroom, if you use Lightroom Cloud, if you use Lightroom Classic, if you use Lightroom on your mobile device, for the most part, there's a little part missing on the mobile. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to pretend it doesn't exist. But if you have Adobe Camera Raw in Photoshop and you're not using this masking stuff, I'm telling you guys, this is the real deal. This stuff is going to make your life so much easier. It's going to make you faster, more productive. You're going to get twice the work done in half the time. Come check out my brand new class on mastering masking. It's exclusively at Kelby One.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
All right, you know what it's time for? It's time for a Photoshop tip.
Excellent.
Photoshop tip, yeah. Photoshop tip, yeah. All right, this is going to look like a Lightroom tip at first because I'm starting in Lightroom. But this is what I'm going to show you is so ridiculously simple. And you're even going to go like, really? Yeah, I'm telling you, I showed this in my workshop, and it's something I do a lot to my photos. It's kind of it's not a finishing move, it's an in-between move. So I'll show you and you'll just see, and you're going to think it's simple, but I'm telling you, it's more powerful than you think. And then we're going to come back to Lightroom and we'll do a tip that I've already shown you, but I'll show you how I finish this off. All right, so we have 3 images that I took bracketed. Now I'm shooting through a piece of glass. I'm on the 2nd story of this palace, and actually one of my workshop attendees, Sherry, said, hey, we can see down to a cathedral through here, because like we're in a museum and a library, and they're like, oh, look down there. So I took my camera and put it right against the glass so you don't get a reflection. So that's the only way you can really, because if you move it even an inch off, you'll get light coming in. It just ruins it. So this shot is actually through glass, and I took a bracketed. All right, so I'm just going to first off start off by making an HDR image. So I'm going to just go here to Photo Merge and choose HDR, and then give it a second. It's going to go, how's this? And I'm like, okay. Now you can see the bad vignetting and stuff. It needs the lens correction applied to it. It always does. So hang on. Give it a second to make the HDR, and the HDR will pop like right in the middle here. There's the HDR version, all right? And I think now the lens correction is automatically applied. Yeah, you don't see that awful stuff on the sides.
Nice.
All right, and it looks okay. Like it's not terrible. So, but it's very bright, and you know, cathedrals are not usually bright. So I will tell you, the first thing that I normally do is try to balance the light. Like you look over here, and that's kind of dark, and the altar area is kind of dark, and the roof is kind of dark. So I would paint all that in. So let's just pretend that I did all that stuff, and I'm going to get over to Photoshop to show you the trick. Press Command E on Mac or Control E on Windows. Don't laugh at this trick, and don't sleep on it. It's better than it sounds. Here's what it is. Let me make it larger. You're going to duplicate the layer, so just press Command J on Mac or Control J on Windows. And all you're going to do is 2 things. You're going to switch from normal to multiply mode. And that right there, just switching it to multiply mode, creates a richness of the color. So it's not just darkening the image, right? It actually has a multiplying effect. And then you're just going to go and dial in, you know, kind of where you want it. Now, I don't know what your screen looks like, but I would be somewhere probably in this area right here. But look at the difference. It makes like everything warm. It is a warming thing. Now, there's parts of the photo that you would you'd click and add a layer mask, and then you'd grab a brush and you'd say, well, I don't want this area to be dark right here, right? It's making the altar too dark, and maybe not that column over there, and maybe not the pews, right? I don't know. You'll decide what you think is right. But I think that it's just that, and I do it all the time. And I add, not every photo, but I do this quite frequently, and I love just what it adds to the photo. Now, I'm going to just, flatten that and send it back to Lightroom, and I'll show you the finishing move that I did back over here in Lightroom. So is that let me see, there's the original, and that's the one that just came back. And this is a trick you saw me do like 5-6 episodes ago, where I went to the masking tool and I grabbed a brush. and I use the AB brush. So this A brush is very small. The B brush is quite large. And then I added, you see how there's light over here? I added a beam of light coming in from this window. Total cheating. So here's what we did. You click once with the small brush, the A brush up here, hold the shift key, go to B, hold the shift key, and click here, and it draws a beam of light between the two. Now it's red because it's a laser. No, it's the tint, right? And then you go over here and you just add your beam. You know, you saw me do this a few weeks ago. And then you can go down here like to dehaze, and you can soften it, and you can change. You can really make the edges very, very soft and all that. Then you can decide how beamy you want it. You know, how much juice you want to put on that light beam. But anyway, I did that and stuff. And then I always go to the vignette and add a little bit of darkening on the edges. So the whole thing is tremendously, with just a little bit done from the original. So let me go see where the original is, just so you can see the difference. So here would be the normal exposure, right? That's not the too bright one. And then look at what little we did to get to there.
I mean, blend modes are where it's at, but that beam is pretty special.
Yeah, the beam is nice, because I got lucky because there was already kind of a light hitting over there. So it's a little bit more believable. But anyway, give both of those a try. So that's a Photoshop and a Lightroom together in one. Just like,
it's like a
bonus.
Peanut butter cup.
Hey, real quick shout out. We're going to bring Rick on in just a second. Cherry says hi from Athens, Ohio. John's here from Dallas. George is here from West Texas. Deb is from SoCal. Zach is here from Colorado. Graham all the way from a sunny Malta. Javier is here from New York City. Clara's here from Poland. Glad to have you here. Tracy is from a snowy Saskatchewan. And Chiqui Nando says, obrigado.
Can you do that in the Sean Connery?
Obrigado.
Thank you.
That's what we say to Chiqui Nando. Anyway, so standing by is a wonderful photographer and a dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the grid the one, the only, the musically inclined Mr. Rick Sammon. Ricky!
Thank you for the all the information and the smiles and the laughs. So, I love the show. It's always great to be on.
Thanks, Rick. Rick, how many times is this for you on the grid?
Well, I think I have about 45 classes on Kelby 1, and this might be the 12th or 15th time.
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, we almost just put a chair here and say Rick's out today.
Well, I've been working with you guys for about 15 years, so probably twice, so maybe 30 times.
Yeah.
We could get a Rick doll for when he's not present.
Oh, yeah. Or just a Rick full-size cutout.
A Rick full-size cutout.
I like the hat one. I like the one where you have that like safari hat on.
And the guitar.
I
like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'll think of that. Maybe I could market that. And if you guys could sell it, I'll give you a cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be great. Well, folks, we asked Rick to be on for a very special reason. Right now is kind of birding season is taking off. Now, we're in Florida and there's just birds here all the time. But Rick, talk about what's going on in birding.
Well, it is a peak season in Florida. March and April in Florida is amazing, but in the Northeast now the birds are coming back. We have robins, we have cardinals, we actually have great blue herons here in Croton. So anyway, I thought I'd come on. I know time's running short, so I'm going to give you. You guys know I talk really fast. Actually, Jason and Juan say slow down, like when we're recording the intros to the classes. But I'm going to go through these kind of quickly. So we're going to start with this one, capturing behavior. You can see the screen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We see it.
So capturing behavior and interaction. This is really important. We could take nice portraits. Portraits are nice enough. But when we take that interaction and when we can tell a story, this is really what makes a great bird picture. And it's the same thing with rocket photography, right? You want to tell the story. The rocket, as Eric knows, the rocket on the pad is one thing, but when it's blasting off and you have the trail, the plume of smoke and all that stuff, that's what really makes a good, rocket photo. So anyway, this does require a lot of patience. This picture was taken down in Wakota, which is on the other coast from you guys in Delray Beach, Florida. And it looks like these two, this is actually a male and a female great blue heron, and it looks like they're talking. So I know I'm projecting, human feelings onto animals, and we do that. That's called anthropomorphism. And try saying that 3 times fast when you're on the grid and talking fast. But anyway, this is really important, capturing behavior. Super important, as Scott Bourne knows, great bird photographer. Get the eye in focus and well lit. Now, if you're going for a silhouette, that's not going to happen. So what I do is I usually choose the position where the bird is going to be, lit from, front lit, so the sun is behind me. But what makes this picture, I think pop is that catch light in the eye. So getting the eye in focus, having it well lit is crucial. This picture was actually taken at the Bronx Zoo, which is a great place to practice bird photography and to get some nice pictures. But a lot of, I like the eye here, but a lot of people, when I posted this on Instagram, like the way the water was flowing around the subject.
Yeah, I like that too.
Oh, yeah, very nice.
It looks cool. And also I'm getting down on eye level. I'll just throw in another tip here. Same thing like Scott. I was looking at your portrait, and you got down that beautiful portrait in Lisbon. Seeing eye to eye, shooting eye to eye. This is really important, because if you're looking down on the bird, or looking down on the person, it's not as effective as if you see eye to eye and shoot eye to eye. Number 3, we're going to go through 10 tips here. So 3 is watch the background. Nice enough picture of the roseate spoonbill, coming in for a landing. This is in Green Key in Florida, not too far from Wakota. But, the background, having that ibis in the background really adds to the story of this picture. And, you talked about vignetting in your excellent Photoshop tip. Excellent as always, I should say. So I also darken the edges here to draw, and I blurred the edges to create, shallow depth of field to draw attention to to this beautiful bird coming in for a landing. Number 4, use animal tracking and eye detection and shoot at the highest frame rate. Another picture taken down in Wakota, which we call Wacko for short. And this great blue heron just like flying by me. And this is amazing today. Scott, we talked about this a few times. Animal tracking and eye detection. I think this is just amazing. And 30 frames per second. It's almost like cheating, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. It really is. It's a game changer.
It's a great game changer. Number 5, shoot raw files. Now, I don't have to, but I do on the Sony A1. I'm shooting the uncompressed raw files. And here's why. Because I want to get the maximum image quality. So over there on the right, you see that I have the shot of the great blue heron catching this fish. And then over there on the left, I see the close-up of that. So if you saw it on my screen, I've made on my printer here 17-inch prints, 17-inch prints from this shot. So the key is you really want to shoot raw files, because in bird photography, a lot of times, even though this was taken with the 600 millimeter lens, you can't get as close as you would like. Another tip is shoot with both eyes open. And I think Erik does this too, and I know you do this. We were talking about this when we did the workshop in China. You want to shoot with both eyes open, because then you can see what might come into the scene to help your picture or ruin your picture. So I'm always shooting with both eyes open, but I recommend practicing at home. You don't want to go out to a great bird location and try this, because it does take a little while to master. Again, I'm going through this very quickly, but I have two classes on Kelby 1, backyard bird photography and beyond, and also breathtaking bird photography that Juan and I shot out in Bosque del Apache. Can you say Bosque del Apache with the Sean Connery accent?
Bosque del Apache.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Number 7, Moose Peterson is super big on this. Observe and learn bird behavior. This was taken in our backyard pond, where I hope you come visit sometime. And we'll make that Portuguese dish.
No, I want that pizza.
I want the pizza too, please.
Well, I'm actually, you never heard me say I'm an expert at anything, except I'm an expert actually on back pain, which I've talked to a few people about, and pizza. But anyway, we could go into that another time. But anyway, this Canada goose was honking, and that's a sound they make, sounds like a honk. So I'm observing the honking, I'm looking at the direction of the wind. So all kidding aside, observing the bird behavior and understanding and learning about behavior helps you get a shot like this. So yes, it is like point and shoot photography with the high frame rate, the animal tracking, the eye detection, and all this stuff. But knowing bird behavior is the key. And here too, I'm getting down at the bird's eye level. Number 8, only a few more to go. Go for gesture. Gesture. Jay Maisel doesn't he? I think the title of his book, Scott, is Light, Color, and Gesture.
Yes, it is.
Light, color. So
Yep.
he talks about gesture in people photography. So gesture in bird photography is super important. And speaking of gesture, when it comes to birds, it's either wings up or wings down. With if the wings are like flat out, usually it's a kind of like a boring picture. So if you shoot at the highest frame rate, you get a better chance of getting a shot like this. Also, you always want to, for me, expose for the highlights. You look at the dark background, look at all the detail in the feathers.
Yep.
And this happens from shooting the uncompressed raw files, but also by starting with the best possible image. So here, I'm shooting actually on aperture priority, like I shoot all my bird pictures, but I'm keeping an eye on the shutter speed. But and shooting the raw files, but I'm underexposing a little bit just to preserve the detail there. And number 10, use a long lens at a wide aperture, and you want to use that image stabilization, especially with the long lens, or in the Sony it's called the OSS system. But here's another picture taken at Wakotahachie in Delray Beach, Florida, of this. Wouldn't say he's a cute little chick, but
No.
That's a black-crowned night heron. We have a lot of those.
Yeah, it's really, really a cool bird.
Yeah.
Well, listen, those are my tips, and I just want to thank you guys for having me on again.
Well, thank you,
Those are
Rick.
great
Thank you.
tips.
That was a quick, rapid fire. I love that kind of tip. I love it, though. I love like tip. That was great.
Concentrated.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Make sure you go and catch Rick's classes. They are among all of our members' favorites. Every time Rick does a class, people lose their mind. So go and watch those. I promise you will love them.
I lose my mind.
He does. He loses his mind. Great seeing you as always, Rick. Thank you so
Good
much.
to see you, Rick. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
All right. Ricky hitting us with a bunch of tips.
Rapid
All
fire.
right. All right. So we're going to take a very short break. When we come back, I'm going to show you what could potentially be a Lightroom or Photoshop tip. It's really hard to tell. We're going to call it a Lightroom tip, but we're going to do it in Photoshop. But we're still going to call it a Lightroom tip. You'll see why.
People say to me all the time, Jeff, you don't really take all those pictures on the iPhone. You're kidding, right? You actually shoot with other cameras. I do shoot with other cameras, but the majority of everything I do is on the iPhone. I just treat it like a professional camera with time-honored photographic techniques, and I would like to pass some of my tips and tricks off to you in my upcoming Kelby 1 class about how to shoot the iPhone like a pro, the advanced version. What will you learn? Let me tell you. I'll show you how to do great panoramic images, long exposures handheld, stop action with burst mode, portraits and lighting, how to do great headshots on the iPhone. We're going to show you night mode, shooting in the night, which is really cool. And of course, everybody's favorite, sunsets worth framing on the wall. Come join me, Jefferson Graham, at kelby1.com.
Hi, I'm Maribel. Come join me in my new class on creative portrait photography using outdoor light. Have you ever struggled with using midday sun to light your portraits and light your subject? I'm going to show you some creative ways in which you can play with midday harsh sun. We're also going to play with using architecture in your frame to frame your subjects and or to make beautiful fine artwork. We'll use leading lines, play with composition. We will hide from the sun, show you creative ways to use midday sun. Additionally, we're also going to dance around with some creative ways to use golden hour sun. And guess what, guys? In this class, we're going to combine harsh midday sun with diffuse light. So come join me now and watch my new class on kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
Whoa, hey, we're back. Whoa. Oh, sorry. I missed the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anyway, hey, welcome back, everybody. All right, we're going to do a tip that you can do in Lightroom or you can do in Photoshop. You can do in either one. And since it doesn't actually use either one, I'm going to call it a Lightroom tip. So it's time for our Lightroom tip. There it is. Lightroom tip, yeah. Lightroom tip, yeah. Lightroom tip. All right, so this is what it is. This is a plugin that I use for a particular thing, right? So you guys know, like for my finishing moves and stuff, I use On-One Effects because that's my thing. However, I have this plugin for this, and it does it really well. It uses AI, and I go to it, and it does it, and I'm done, and it's really good. It's actually worth buying the software for this one thing.
Since I can see your screen, I have an idea of what this tip might be, and I'm actually really excited because I spend an excruciating amount of time fixing this issue.
That's why it's worth it. Take a look on screen. Yes. All right, look at all these power lines going through my shot here, right? And I've been using the heck out of this the last few days because of my shots from Portugal. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this plugin. We're going to go filter. We're going to go to Skylum software and choose Luminar Neo. Now, you can go and download a version of it and stuff, right? And try it. And I use this for one thing, and it works wonderfully well. It has an AI-based thing that removes power lines. All you got to do is choose it. It'll come up. It takes just a second to come up. You can do this in Lightroom or Photoshop. Lightroom or Photoshop. Either one. It's a plugin for both. Go to Edit. Go to Erase. And there's a button called Remove Power Lines. Now, it's not the fastest plugin. It takes a few seconds, but watch. I'm going to click right now. Give it a few seconds and watch the power lines.
I'm going to say relative to my manual efforts, this is going to be like a blink of an eye.
Oh, yeah. It'll be very quick here. It's like 8 seconds or something.
They just should add a little bit of music.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
What? I know, it's crazy. And that's it.
Magic.
It is magic, especially in some certain situations. You're just like, I cannot believe what I just saw. Like, it takes away, and then you just hit apply, and it applies it.
I want to retroactively apply this to photos I've already worked on.
Yeah, go back and say, go to the original. All right, yeah, that's it. Boom, it's done. And so, anyway, just keep that in mind. It's worth it. I think if you do nothing else in that plugin but that, it's absolutely worth it. So now I just need On-One to add that to effects, and I would be sad. Because they got AI stuff. They got AI masking and all that stuff, but you have to teach it to go, that's a power line, and take it out. Telephone lines, power lines, it's gone.
Well, they're on official notice now.
Yeah, they are. They're on official notice, yeah. All right, so now it's time to talk about infrared. Dun, dun, dun. All right, now, so my first question, I have a bunch of questions if that's okay.
Please.
Now, I know a little bit about infrared because, like I said, I have an infrared camera. All right. So if you want to shoot infrared, like someone says, I've seen infrared photos and they look really, really cool. And I love the white trees and the black skies and all that stuff. What it does to foliage is really cool. What it does to the sky and clouds is really cool. And this is not something new. Infrared has been around for a long time. It's not like a new fangled thing.
100 years old.
Yeah, 100?
Yep.
100 years old. All right, if I want to get into infrared photography, what is step one?
Get an R72 filter that screws onto your lens, your regular camera, and it's going to be a very dark filter, so you'll use a long exposure time. So pull out your tripod and go take a picture.
An R72?
Yeah, that is a 720 nanometer infrared filter. My favorite brand of that
I gotta
is
look this up.
Hoya, because it is a high quality filter. It's well priced. It's widely available. You can get it from B&H. You can get used ones on KEH or maybe.
Oh, there it
even
is right
B&H.
there.
Yep. Just get one of those, slap it on your camera, and.
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
I am serious. Like, the barriers to trying this medium are much lower than people think they are. And the results are fantastic.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, that's all you need to do.
I'm pissed. That's it? You don't have to have a camera converted?
You don't have to have the camera converted, no. If you do get a camera converted, then that opens you up to using different frequencies, and the lower the frequency you go, 590, 550, the more opportunity you have to introduce false color. So you can work with these glowy images that are also crazy colors.
Right, the pinks and the
Yeah.
weird color. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go look at that thing. He brought it up on screen for a second, but I lost it here. All right. That's an anti-glare filter. What is? Oh, here it is. The Hoya 77, whatever. Now, look, it's more expensive on Amazon.
Probably. It might be a different size too, but.
Yeah, I would need actually. I could do a 77. No, I could do a 72 and then do. I could do a 72 on one of my, and then do a step-up ring for my other camera.
Yeah.
Because I have one that's 72 and one that's 77. So 62. I'm kind of surprised it's that easy. Can we show them some examples? Like, do we have examples? We can go to your site or something, and for those people who aren't familiar with the look, because I don't think their graphic is too great here.
Yeah.
Now those are the colors, the pinks I was talking about.
Yeah.
These are more done with a camera that has been converted.
These are all done with a converted camera because I wanted to commit, and I don't want to do anything but infrared photography. And these are various wavelengths. That is I have 2 visible light photos on this whole website, and that's one of them. But you could do something similar to that. I like to use infrared for things like macro photography, like this dandelion on the right. And there's our noctilucent cloud there on the bottom right.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, so with infrared, you get this heightened detail. It can just see things that visible light doesn't really reveal. It's wonderful for clouds. You get this fantastic texture.
So I'm not a natural light photographer now. I'm a visible light.
You're a visible light photographer.
Visible light. I've never heard that term before.
Well, we have to differentiate it because if we just say color, it can be confusing.
You hang with a different crowd, don't you?
I hang with all crowds.
They ain't too pretty. They ain't too proud. They might be laughing a bit too loud, but that never hurt no one.
All the people are my people, okay?
All the people are your people. All right. Okay. So, is there, besides buying this inexpensive filter, which I'm going to have to buy here in just a minute, I'm going to just go ahead and add it to my cart. Well, the right one, 72. That's what I want, right? Hey, there's only 5 left in stock. All right. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to go get it from B&H. I'm not going to get it from Amazon.
I do too.
All right. Let's just click the B&H button here. Look, it's right up in my all right.
Where it should be.
All right.
You just put in R72.
R72.
That's it. It'll know.
R72. And I want the Hoya.
You want the Hoya.
But I don't want the 52. I want the 72.
You just click on any of them and it'll give you the choices.
Yeah, that's what I want.
It doesn't.
I want the 72.
You want the 72 or 77?
No, because I have to step up, right, to a 77.
Got it.
Is that right? I buy the lens for the smaller one, and then I buy a step-up ring to go to the bigger one. Every time I buy filters, I go through this. I have to go, now I want to buy a 77 and step down. We'll figure this out on the break, but let's back to it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to buy the wrong thing, and then I think I use a step-up ring. I buy a smaller one, and then I step up to my bigger lens.
I don't know why a person
Someone will
would
tell us
do
in
that,
the
but I'm going
comments.
to Google it privately so I don't feel uninformed.
I already feel like that. All right, don't feel bad. All right. So once you've done that, all right, so you're having to do a long exposure. You're in bulb mode?
It's not that long.
It's not that long.
We're talking like just over handheld. It's probably going to be I don't know, between a quarter of a second and 2 seconds.
Okay. So.
You want to do this outside. You want a lot of light. It doesn't have to be like noon, but all infrared light basically comes from the sun. So we couldn't do it here in the studio very effectively. You want to do it outside. So you're going to have pretty bright conditions in the first place. You don't have to have a tripod. You just set it on the little rock wall where you are, whatever.
Oh, look at that thing.
It's pretty simple.
Launch chute.
Oh yeah, I'm just standing next to the insurance headquarters in my neighborhood. That was one of my first infrared pictures.
Oh, I like that.
I love this medium for architecture because these skyscrapers have all these crazy coatings on the glass that throw off these weird colors. This building in color is like rainbows. It's amazing. So I really enjoy those.
Hey, see all those wires? I can get rid of those for you.
They're part of the composition on that one.
Boo. I want to use my plug-in.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not a very long exposure. Are you going to hand hold it?
With this lens, you can. I mean, I don't hand hold it because I'm not really that steady. But
me either.
It's so you just take the photo and then you import it into Photoshop. And if you're going to make a black and white, then you can kind of just go directly toward that processing. In my new infrared class on Kelby1.com,
I don't know if you've heard of that.
can learn all of these techniques for how you can get like a really nice image. There are a bunch of different processing steps that will help you kind of amplify the contrast and introduce that color if you want that, and just get a really nice image.
You know what's nice? Because for most photography, travel photography, like there's a reason why we're out there at dawn and why we're at sunset.
Yeah.
For landscape, you want to shoot at dawn, you want to shoot at
Right.
sunset. So what do you do during the day? Generally, we sleep, we do post-processing, we do some light shoplifting. We don't really do a lot of stuff during the day. But this opens up the day to you. In fact, when the light is really harsh, you want to go then.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean, I won't deny the romantic, moody, late and early day light is amazing, and I still try to use that, but you're not really, like, the middle of the day is not off limits to you in infrared like it is with with visible light. Dappled sunlight, you go to a place that's got trees and you get in there among the trees and you've got kind of these filtering effects on the sun, give you a little bit of scrim through the moss hanging from the trees or what have you, and you still end up with these really beautiful effects. And so it means we're kind of on 24 hours, so we edit at night.
Ooh, all right. Let's go. Okay. All right, so let me just kind of recap. So I buy this filter, and I'm going to buy the right one. I'm not going to buy the wrong one in the step-down ring. I'm going to go step up and all. Okay.
Yep.
I buy that. Obviously, a tripod would be helpful,
Yeah.
right? Or you can use a platypod.
Or you could just use a platypod. That's an excellent
platypod.
recommendation.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will be lucky enough to win this, which will help with your
sandwich.
This will be absolutely no use to you whatsoever for infrared, but it makes a nice sandwich holder. All right. So I can just use something to steady it. Is there anything else that I need?
No.
That's it?
It's really not.
What kind of camera settings would you normally? You're shooting architecture, what, F11, something?
Okay, so I'm giving you the low barrier way to do infrared, but like any topic, it can get deep and wide, and there's lots of complexity. You can go into Kuna land,
where you start, researching things, and you have things that rotate with the axis of the Earth and all this crazy stuff.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff.
I would recommend sticking your aperture somewhere in the middle of the range for that lens.
Like
It's
F8
usually
or
pretty,
something?
between 5.6 to 8. When you close the aperture down really small, you can sometimes get a hot spot, which is a bright spot in the middle of your infrared photo. If you have a hot spot, which is, the reasons for that are kind of varied and not super important. Some lenses have them, some lenses don't. If you have a hot spot, then try to compose a picture where that hot spot doesn't matter. Like, put that hot spot into, have a tree there. But if you've just got like a wide open blue sky, that hot spot will be very apparent. But you can hide it in your composition. So There are, our cameras are not designed for this type of light. And so one piece of advice that I would give people is you really want to underexpose by quite a lot, a couple of stops at least, because otherwise you'll end up with these blown out highlights. If you are using a mirrorless camera or a DSLR that's got a live view, compose with that, because that will give you a more accurate representation of how your light is actually going to look.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Got any more infrared tips now that I'm interested in infrared now because it's inexpensive? I thought I was going to have to here's some questions coming in. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. So the first one is from Irene. I think it's for Irene. Why is the infrared photos nowadays, the digital ones, different and not as good as those done with infrared films in the film days?
It would be tough for me to speak to the subjective assessment that it's not as good. Particularly mirrorless cameras are very good with infrared, and they're very easy to use. So I'd be interested to hear more from Irene, about what she thinks is not as good. I think we're doing pretty well with the digital, honestly. So I'd love to hear more about the question.
I haven't heard anything along those lines. I haven't heard people lamenting, oh yeah, infrared used to be good back in the old days, but since digital, I haven't heard that at all. Now I don't run in the circles that you do. The infrared circles, so it's hard for me to say.
I'll tell you, there's no color infrared film, so it's not like false color isn't really an option for you if you're doing this in the dark room.
I want to go back to 2008. I want to see if I have any. I took with me to Dubai. I took an infrared camera, but I don't know if I have any infrared shots. I did take some, but I don't think I have any final. Okay. I just wanted to see real quick, because I did take that camera with me to Dubai to try it out, which was wild. But now I can just screw on a filter and cheat.
That's right.
All right, there was another couple of questions. David wants to know, how would fireworks look in IR?
Fireworks would look white because there's no color in infrared light. And because of that, you're dealing with kind of it's a limitation, and I think of limitations as sort of like creativity boosters in a way. When you have fewer options, your brain has to work a little harder to do something cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how much infrared light is coming out of the fireworks, like certainly some, but they're not going to be as bright as something that you're doing by natural daylight.
Interesting. Yeah. Sharon says, I have a full spectrum converted infrared camera. What filters would I use to get the fun false colors?
I'd recommend a 590 nanometer. That is going to give you a little bit of visible light filtering in, which is where the color comes from. You'll get some red light and yellow light, and how that looks to you in your photo is that you're going to end up straight out of camera with sort of a ice blue and sepia looking photo. You can swap the channels in Photoshop, and then that's where you get like the gold or the pink foliage.
Yeah, the pink foliage.
Yeah. I do want to let people know that 590 filter will not work on your unconverted camera. If you're using just a regular unconverted camera, it has to be 720 or higher. And the reason is because your camera is designed to filter out infrared light, and we're sort of cheating around what they intend by using that 720 filter, because their solution's only pretty good. It's good enough to fool the 590, but not the 720.
These are a lot of numbers. This is a lot of math. I was not expecting math. I was not warned about math.
The lower the numbers, the more color. The higher the numbers, the more glow and the less color. Wow. You can get 1,000 nanometer filter now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Steve's got a question. He says, what about focus shifting with infrared light?
So what Steve is referring to is on film cameras and some older DSLRs, there's a different focus point for infrared light than there is for visible light. On more modern cameras and on mirrorless, that's no longer an issue. Whatever you're focusing at is what what you see is what you get. In the past, that little red line on your focusing ring on your manual camera, that is the infrared focus line.
I'm learning so much today. I can't believe it. I'm stunned.
Oh, here's
All
one for
right.
you.
Oh, I got a question. All right. And then we're going to do a trivia question, and then we're going to do some prizes. Okay.
Excellent.
Diana asks, Scott, you had an external drive that had an SD card reader built in previously. Best I can tell, they are no longer available. What do you use for backup now?
Oh,
okay.
May I just point folks to your
please.
new class on how to do backups while you're traveling? I've heard that it's amazing.
Well,
and
thank you.
informative.
It's stunning. It's amazing. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's extraordinary. All right, no. So here's the thing. This was true, but there are now. I was able to find two of those, Diana. The one that was missing was the LaCie. LaCie's is now back on the market. You can find it online, no problem. It's the LaCie Rugged, and there is a model with an SD reader in it. There's also another one. If you give me just a moment, I'll get you the name of it. There is another one, and hang on, I'm looking for it right now. Oh, hold on, because I mentioned the name of it in my class because I want to be up to date. It is the new Q, so NEWQ File Hub AC750. It is a hard drive with built-in SD card reader, and it does automatic. So you put it in, it downloads your photos. The next day, you put it in, it only downloads the photos that are not already downloaded. So every day you can just put your, it doesn't re-download your whole card every time. It goes, oh, I see these other photos. We're just going to add the new stuff. Now, I don't take that with me anymore because I always have my laptop. So I just have a regular, and I go through all of this in the class, and I talk about when it's okay to erase your SDs, and I talk about which cards. We go into everything. We talk about everything. We go through the iPad workflow. We go through testing. We do different kinds of drives, jump drives, the whole workflow, everything. We go through it all. And there it is. It's the new Q File Hub AC750 travel router, portable hard drive, SD card reader, and mini Wi-Fi range extender. It does it all, and it's $79, which is an amazing price.
I'd like to thank Amazon for including these extremely long descriptors in the title.
Yes,
so they can be read. In this
Oh
voice.
my gosh. Yeah, that's the nicest name. Anyway, but yeah, there's a couple of them out there. Okay, we're going to do our trivia question, and the winner is going to win something that I'm sure somebody will tell me. The trivia winner gets the Light It and Shoot It, Retouch It book as well. So there we go. Okay. Trivia. Okay. You've heard of the company Adobe. By the way, did you know that Adobe announced a new update to Lightroom yesterday?
Heard that this morning, and I admit I have not updated mine yet, but
So
I was hoping that I'd have a chance to hear
Well,
about what that
I will
update
tell you what
is
the two
today.
big things are, I think, for our audience. So you know that they have facial recognition, right? And then they have this list of things you can do. You can do someone's eyes, their sclera, their pupils. You can do it'll recognize their eyebrows, their facial skin, their body skin. Well, they have this whole long list. They added two new ones. So two new ones. They added, ready? Facial hair.
That's a can of worms.
Facial hair. So if you have a beard, it really is for beards. Like a beard or a mustache, it will select that, and you can make it darker or lighter. That's really what it's for. So it's beard, beard or and they also added that other thing, clothing. Clothing. So you could say, select shirt or whatever. So there's a couple other little things. They added some noise reduction thing that I'm probably not going to use because I use On1 effects. I use On1 AI noise reduction. But anyway, mostly it's those two. So there was a couple little things here and there, and of course, support for new lenses and bug fixes and all that stuff. Anyway, if you want to learn more about that, go over to lightroomkillertips.com, where Rob Sylvan did a wonderful article just yesterday, as soon as we were allowed to share it. So go check out Rob's article over at my other site, lightroomkillertips.com. Okay. Now it's time for a trivia question. You've heard of Adobe because we just mentioned them. Adobe Systems.
That's why.
Ready? What is it named after? And don't say the answer because they have to know. First person with the answer of what Adobe is named after will win the book. So send that in. Now, while you are typing furiously, and don't go search on the internet, that's cheating. This is something you have to just intrinsically know.
You're born with this knowledge or you're not, sorry.
You're born with it or you're not. We got some winners. Tim Hawley, you won the Platypod clamp. So you'll be able to drive and dine, and it'll be wonderful.
Is it the mini super clamp?
It's the mini super clamp. Thank you for noticing that. Yes, that's it. It's mini. It's super. All right. I want that picture of you holding it. I want that as like when it comes up on my phone. I want that to be
figuring out where my hands are supposed to go.
Yep. Matt Plaisance. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, Matt. You won the folding V-flat. Congratulations. Lynn Holly, you got the On One Effects plugin. And
Nice.
Chuck, you got the travel photography book. And the winner of the trivia question was Danny Furlan. I can tell you what the answer is. Adobe was named after Adobe Creek. It is actually a creek that ran behind the founder's house, and they chose it as the name for their company, and it worked out pretty well for him so far. All right, how do you get your prizes? I don't have any idea. I don't think we've ever sent out any. No, here's what you do. You're going to send an email to gridprize, one word, gridprize@kelby1.com, and we'll verify that you were really the person that won, and then we'll get your address and we'll ship it out to you. Now, to get these prizes, you have to claim them by this Friday. Because if you send it next Monday, we've already given away your stuff to somebody else. So.
And we're going to use Adobe facial recognition to verify your...
Yes, we're using Adobe facial recognition. All right, now I know some of you out there are wondering, what was he watching? And for those of you who know who you are, I'll put it on screen here, the secret code. I have a secret code. Now, nobody will know what this means. But it's okay not to know what it means, because it's a secret code that can only be shared by secret people. Here we go. This is our special code. It's not the World Wide Web, it's the other thing. This is a secret code that I'm broadcasting. You're not supposed to do that, but I just did. Here we go. Secret code. That's the secret code.
What?
I can't explain it because it's secret. It wouldn't be secret if I told you what it was. Don't forget, the Lightroom conference is coming up. I think it's next month. It should be. So it is coming up next month. It is an online event. It is two days, 2 full tracks, a who's who of Lightroom teaching it. It's going to be great. It's May 16th and 17th. We want you to be there. We're going to show some mind-blowing stuff, including, of course, the brand new stuff that was just introduced yesterday. But it will be a masking fiesta. I've got a really interesting class that I'm going to do. So
Tell me more.
Tell me more. No, I think it's going to be good. So I'm going to do a live shoot, and I'm going to build my tethering rig from scratch. Like, we're going to assemble it. I'm going to go through the whole thing of tethering, but that's just step one. We're going to do that. We're going to build this. We're going to show how to shoot to an iPad, and then how to do customer proofing on site, and how to do remote customer proofing. And it all starts with you being able to tether. It opens up a whole new world of things. So I'm doing a whole class on it with a live shoot just on that whole customer proofing kind of thing. It's really
Awesome.
pretty cool.
That's going to make some people's lives much easier.
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised. And being able to shoot to an iPad, because a lot of people said, I want to tether to an iPad. You're not going to tether to an iPad. You're going to transfer wirelessly to the iPad, but it's the same. It was if you and I were on the set, and let's say you're the client, and I'm shooting a product of yours, you would be able to sit there across the room or wherever you want, look on an iPad, and be able to go, oh, okay, I approve this shot. And you can send me notes. Like, you could say, this shot sucks, I need a different photographer. But you could also share the link of what you're seeing with someone in a different state or a different country, and they could watch the shoot live and comment and do everything. It's really cool.
You know what else you can do? If you really don't like having your photo taken, and so you'll only take your own photos, you do it with that iPad. And I'm telling you, it saves a lot of ego.
You know what else you can do? You ready for this?
Yeah.
You could set up your phone, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you have an Apple Watch?
No.
It's not too late. If you have an Apple Watch, there's actually a camera app, and you can fire your camera from your phone. Now, it won't shoot from here, but like you can put your camera at the end of this desk, and you could pose, and you can go bang and shoot it. And it goes 3, 2, 1, so you have time to pose like, huh, huh,
Huh.
huh, huh.
I'm gonna have to look
And that's
into
the only
that.
pose that works with those. You have to give the, huh.
Gonna have to look into that.
It's worth buying a phone for. Not really. I mean, worth buying a watch. Don't. They're expensive. Okay. Well, we've only run over by 30 minutes, which I think is pretty good for us, really, when you think about it. Rain, where can people go learn more about you?
Rainhays.com on the World Wide Web.
On the World Wide Web.
That's
Look
me.
at that.
That's me.
That's so infrared.
That's a 665 nanometer infrared image.
I love it when you sling technical terms around. It's a 665. But you can also use a 666 or a 667.
That's a tree on a hill.
I would not use a 666 because you'll probably go straight to the hot place. Okay, so good stuff. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for putting up with all our shenanigans today, of which there were many. But anyway, thanks to you all for watching, and also a special shout out to Cheeky Dando all the way in Portugal, who was such a wonderful help, and to Mimo Madani and all the people that came to my workshop from all over. We had a wonderful time. It was very, very special, and can't wait to do it again. I'm in New York in 2 weeks with the Kuna. I hope you're in our crew there. And then I'm going to be in London, swinging London in September, and tickets will be available here shortly for that. If you're not already on my mailing list and you want to get early notice before I tell the general public, go to ScottKelbyWorkshops.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the page and get on my newsletter, so that way I'll send you out a thing that says, hey, London's available tomorrow, and you'll get, there it is, my advanced workshop list. But it's good. But the next one is Swing in London. New York's already sold out, but we haven't opened up Swing in London yet because it has to swing. That's it. Mimo and me for legendary London. And I can talk like this the whole time. Welcome, everyone. We're going to talk about photography. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to my crew here. And we will see you guys next week, where I actually will have final photos to show from Lisbon, not just behind the scenes. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Whee!
Here we go now.